Hi everyone. I want to record this quick video because there have been a few things on my mind, and I did record a version of this earlier today, but then I decided to redo it. So there's a lot of information starting to come to the surface of some really difficult changes that are going to happen. And if you've been watching my channel, I'm sure you're aware of the changes that are here that are happening. But I just want to emphasize that it is so important not to fall into fear with the changes that we are going to encounter. Remember, we are the change. We are the change. How we want to live, how we want the change to develop as we move through this process is up to us. And if we fall into fear, then we are going to perpetuate old cycles and old patterns that we've been living in for a long time. It takes a lot of observation and a lot of courage to break those patterns of fear. And I've seen many things going around, many different people and even people from different industries talking about different things, all kind of leading to the same point exactly. So a lot of it too, some of it comes from ego, some of it comes from people really enforcing their point to get their point across to others, which is fine. And we all need to communicate this. We all need to communicate how we feel. We all need to feel safe to speak our truth and to get our own information out there in whatever way possible. But I just feel that where we have come from, this old structure of analytical and logical ways and fear-based perceptions and ways of operating just don't work anymore, and we need a new way to work through this change. And that's truthfully where we're going, is a more evolved and more expansive way of being, rather than being in the analytical mind so much and in the ego and in fear. And we need to also go through that process within ourselves. That's what I've gone through. I've gone through the dismantling of many of those layers. And yes, it's still around. I still have to face those layers within myself. But the more that I've understood within myself, I now see that same paradigm, if you will, or the same structures that we have within ourselves, within our world, because our old programs, our fears, the way that we've been used to living is a reflection in our outer world. It still is very prevalent. But as we change within ourselves, one by one by one, we start to create that ripple effect of that type of change in our world. But if we revert back to fear, and if we revert back to the ego or logic, the overriding of our heart, of our intuition through analytical, and don't get me wrong, analytical thinking, logical thinking, rational thinking is important, but it's not our way out of this. It's not our solution this time around. It's going to require a different way of being altogether. And there could be a merger of two, right? A merger of two, of information, of analytical thinking, of logic, and also our heart, and understanding ourselves and the world in a new light, in a different way. Also, I want to say that if you are dealing with fear, if you are falling into a lot of the stress and the worry of the future, social structures are going to be disrupted, economic structures are going to be disrupted, many different structures, environmental structures are being disrupted. We have to have these structures broken down in order to rebuild. This is the death and rebirth, and it has happened within us. If you're watching this channel, probably it's happened with you already, or maybe you're going through it. This is the process that a lot of us are in internally, but also the world is also experiencing that as well. And so when I emphasize being in a place of calm and neutrality, or being in a place of love, which is even better, being a place of understanding, of acceptance, of observation, of peace within ourselves, does not mean that we are being naive, does not mean that we are being, that we don't care. It means that we're actually changing, creating the change, and being courageous and brave to create a different reality. And it's very empowering, and it is very powerful also to remain in that state. And I've gone through the fear myself. I've had a few posts that I've come across on social media that were very, got my anxiety moving. And I had to I had to come back from that. I had to watch myself and not get carried away with all of the energy of that particular message. So I'm going to give you some tips also of how to move forward. First, I'm going to go on the next few months, and then I'm going to go into the next year. And I've talked about this before, but I feel it's very important to understand and just to remember, but not again because of fear and because of and to fall into worry or doubt of the future uncertainty. It's to be aware and to be prepared on an energetic level and on a level of observation, and even creating the change within yourself or within your life, or your outer world, I should say, um, according to how you feel you should manage it, what you feel is right for you. Listen to your intuition. A lot of healers, light workers, way showers, way seers, however you say, they are going through this change right now to lead in some kind of way, to assist, to guide, to help, and to heal. And this is going to be needed more and more as we move along. So if you've been going through deep transformation, if you've gone through the dark night of the soul, and I have to also mention, I've mentioned dark night of the soul many times. If you have not gone through the dark night of the soul, don't worry about it. You're not missing out. You're not, well, it's all for us to interpret our experiences as we need to interpret them for our own purpose. You have signed up for this. You have a particular experience that you have to go through, that you're meant to evolve through. If you haven't gone through the dark night of the soul, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be enlightened. It doesn't mean that you aren't awakened. It doesn't mean that you aren't here for a bigger purpose. We are all here for a purpose. We're all here to experience. We're all here to maybe teach or learn for sure. But those who are healers, those who are seers, those who are light workers, etc., if you've gone through any kind of process of change and transformation and become a different person over the last 3 years, then you're going to be in some way signing up for something greater. Like I said, maybe to lead, to share your experiences with others. If anything is going to be remaining in your powerful, high vibrational state of being, which is going to create a big impact in this world. And so that's why it's really important to observe your energy and to work with your energy and to work with your emotions and to work with your thoughts to help create that positive shift. So a lot of people need it. A lot of people need this, and it's only going to grow as we move along because a lot of systems are going to be disrupted, are already being disrupted. And the old paradigm's falling apart. I don't know how it's going to fall apart, in what kind of way. We don't know. Nobody knows for sure. There are some ideas. There are some, there's the ripple effect of every consequence. Every action has some kind of reaction, but we don't know what that reaction exactly is going to be. So we have to be prepared for the worst, but best case scenario in the same, because it's all equal. It all has its place. So there isn't a need to be in fear. It is going to be a battle of facing our fears. Is the biggest battle of all, is the battle in here. That's the only thing that we're going to really have to be challenged with, is our own internal fears and the way that we might see the world, we might see each other. The social structures are really taking a hit right now with people's opposing views onto one another and starting to create anger and separation. This is getting stronger, and it's really sometimes difficult to watch, truthfully, but all we can do, you watching here, myself included, is to focus on ourselves and to strengthen the relationships around us that we can strengthen. So you are not alone. FYI, if you feel like you are alone, get in touch with me and we'll change that. We are not alone on this. There are many groups of people. There are many other groups and organizations working towards positive change to turn this around. So there's no fear about our future. We are going to get through this. Now, I wanted to go into the numerology just to remind you some of the things that are coming up. So we have October is going to be a big month. And I've mentioned this before, and I have to emphasize October, November are going to be big, and I will be talking about it as we move along. We have a lot of big play energy in October, especially. And then we move into November, which is a 9/11 month in Scorpio energy, death and rebirth, a lot of this deeper stuff. There's other things going on, and I've been connecting the dots between some astrology, some numerology, what I'm seeing out there with the news, not that I watch it that often, just with people, conversations. So connecting the dots. And next year, the next 2 years, 2024 and 2025, are going to be quite big. But like I said, if we can look at it as bad or we can look at it as good. It all is up to us to change our perception accordingly. How do you want to see your reality unfold? How do you want to see the world unfold? This is the Tower and death and a lot of these in tarot, a lot of these transformative cycles that we are in that are going to allow us to rebuild. It may take some time. But we're going to get there. And also, I want to give you some advice too, if you like, for managing your health and your well-being at this time. Take a lot of rest. Make sure that you are getting extra sleep. If you can function on 6 hours of sleep and feel really good about it, then that's amazing. Go for it. If you are pushing yourself and stressed and can't sleep, calm the mind. Before you go to bed, make sure you drop into a little bit of a meditation. Pay attention to where your thoughts are at, where your emotions are at, and try to let it go. Try to let it go and move into a state of calm and focus on the energy that you want to create within yourself, the experience that you want to create within yourself, emotional calmness, emotional stability, peace, joy. Also gratitude. Take note of what is good around you. What are things that you can find love and joy and happiness and peace with, even if it is the sky, even if it is nature, even if it is a conversation you had. You look at the beauty of life. We can often fall into the trap of looking at what is wrong in life and get triggered and fall into that despair and fall into that negativity. Perception is everything. The way that we choose to look at our world is everything. So find gratitude before going to bed. Subconscious reprogramming, work on positivity and constructive programming. Now, I know I talk about the shadow a lot. It's not about pushing ourselves. It's about also acknowledging what is weighing us down and what is preventing us from being in more peace and more energetic flow, because our energy affects everyone's energy. Okay, it's very important to remember that. And also waking up in the morning, you can drop into a meditation as well, calming the mind, setting your intention for the day of how you want your day to unfold. And it's really all about getting out of the mind and thinking too much and allowing and trusting for the flow to happen and for you to be guided through this process and being open for synchronicities. This is a whole different way of living that we are moving into. It's a whole different life experience that we are moving into, myself included. I am learning this as I move along, and now it's becoming very interesting. Okay, and also diet. Intermittent fasting is really great. So not eating, I just stop eating between 5 and 6 p.m. And then I won't eat until about 10 to about 1 p.m., 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., depending on my workout schedule and my daily routine. But it's really important to allow your body to take breaks from eating and from stress. So our body is connected with everything, our emotions, our thoughts, and our energetic being. It is all one machine that we have here. And the more balanced we can be with our energy, with our thoughts, with our emotions, our body is going to be at more peace, and it all works together. So the less stress that we can put on our body, the more energy we will have, the more flow we will have, the greater ability we will have to create, etc., etc. Also try to move your body as much as possible, even for a walk or yoga or running or gym, whatever you like. Try to find movement in your day, just so you can give your body a break from maybe sedentary life. If you work all day, it's really great to move the body and keep that moving. So this is all the complete connectedness within ourselves that I'm trying to work towards here in this conversation, but in all my videos as well. Also too, I just want to say, this is an incredible experience, and it's easy to fall into difficulty with it because it also is a difficult process, but it's also very beautiful. And I've gone through years and years of suffering, years of suffering. And even this process of death and rebirth, darkening of the soul, has been really difficult. I'm sure if you've experienced that or something of this, something of a similar nature, then you can relate to it. It has been very difficult, but seeing things from the bigger picture, the macro perspective, has offered a lot of insight as to our true place in this world and our ability to create and our ability to have a better life is. And we all have that ability to have that and to rise above it. And you as a soul being, you are a soul being first. You are a soul being first, because when you leave this form, you are still going to be a soul being. So as a soul being, you are greater than all the problems that you face. And remember to look at problems or challenges as opportunities for growth. It does offer us a lot, and we are going through significant change right now. So get a lot of rest, a lot of hydration, drink lots of water. Intermittent fasting is really great. Try to move the body once a day, walk. Like I said, yoga, meditation is always key. And being aware of the subconscious mind, especially, to break patterns that may be disrupting your behaviors, your actions, your emotions, your thoughts. All right, there. I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and I will be seeing you again very soon. Take care.